Hello and welcome back to my channel. It's Bella Fresh again. In today's video, I'm going to be telling you guys the things I wish I knew before I got married. And today's video is going to be a collaboration with Blessing Bestward, who is a YouTuber based in Rome just like I am, and she's an amazing person. She focuses on marriage, food and lifestyle, and she does hair videos. So guys, please go check her out as soon as you're done watching this video. You see this thing called marriage? Before you get into it, you want to enter, and when you enter, you're like, how I wish I knew these things. You're single, planning on getting married, or hoping to get married. Guys, I've been married for over 2 years now, going on 3. So today I'm going to be sharing things I wish I knew before I got married based on my experience in marriage, experiences of some other people I've been talking to about this topic, some of my friends, family members, a couple of married people who have been married for so many years. So the very first thing, which just had to be the first amongst the things I wish I knew before I got married, is enjoy your single days. I can't overemphasize on this one. Enjoy your single days, ladies, men. Enjoy your single days, enjoy your singlehood. There's no need to rush. Absolutely no. If you think, oh, my friends are getting married, my parents are on my neck, everyone is whining me because I'm not thinking about getting married, or I'm not bringing any man home, calm down, chill. It's your life. You're the one who's going to get married. So one thing I'm going to advise you to do is don't be in a hurry. In all honesty, I would advise you do whatever thing you want to do before you get married, like bag a degree or 2 if you want to. Make sure you start up a business. Make sure you build your career before you get married. These are very important things, because when you get married, you might not be able to achieve those things at the pace you would want to before you got married. So there's no need to rush. So before you get married, ensure you do all of these things. You don't have to rush. Go out with friends, have fun, have a girls trip, boys trip if you're a man. Make sure you have fun, because when you get married, you wouldn't expect your spouse to let you always go have a girls trip, or your wife would always want you to go out with the boys every time or travel with the boys. So do a whole lot of traveling during your single days. Trust me, do a whole lot of traveling. Except you'll be getting married to someone who is not planning to have kids, which is hardly ever seen these days, or you're planning to get married to a man who would want you guys to have like 2 years of fun without having kids, then that's cool. But before you get married, ensure you enjoy your single days to the fullest. I can't even overstress this. There's so many things I wish I did before I got married, and this is one of them. Like, this is like on the top of the list. So enjoy your single days, have fun, just have fun. Another thing I wish I knew before I got married is that men are wired very differently from women. Men are totally different in character, in temperance, their ego. Even love languages differ between men and women. For example, my husband would love to cuddle and like just stay together, cuddle, talk. That's my husband. But we are wired differently. We're like two opposite poles of a magnet, and you know what happens? Two opposite poles of a magnet, they actually attract. That's why we're together. So my husband would prefer to cuddle, to get cuddled and just chill, while me, I would love to hear words of affirmation. I would love to receive gifts to kind of like keep me sane. You need to understand that your man or your woman is wired differently from you, based on their character, their mindset, their personality. From women, we're totally two different people. One thing is, before you get married, you never really get to know who this person really is until you go in. Obviously, you're going to know who you're getting into, what you're getting into with, but you will never know much about your fiancé until you get into marriage. Be prepared to compromise. Compromise. You can't step into marriage thinking everything is going to be 50-50. It's going to be 50-50. It's give and take and all of that. Sometimes you might be giving and the partner is not taking, or you might be taking and your partner is not giving. It's not always going to be as you presume. It's not always going to be the way you presume from the very beginning. It's not going to always be as you see it in movies, as you see it in fairy tales, telenovelas, all of that. It's not always going to be that way. You always have to come to a point of compromise. It's very important. as a woman, it gets to a point where you have to have kids and you might have to get off work. If you're lucky, you get off work on a maternity leave where you earn your salary and all of that. But there are times when you get laid off work. You get laid off work, or you're a stay-at-home mom. At that point, you don't have the independence you would want to have. So this is a point where you have to come to compromise. Most of the time, women, we get caught up being the ones compromising. But you need to note this, that even in as much as you're married, before you got married, you had a life you were living. So don't compromise to the extent that you start losing yourself as a woman or as a man. So try to compromise, but still be you, be who you've always wanted to be. Achieve your goals while still compromising in marriage. A couple of people are divorced today because a certain drastic change occurred during the course of their marriage, which they never ever envisaged, they never planned for. So it's important before you get married, you guys walk around, don't even beat around the bush. Tell each other the things you want to achieve. Tell each other the things you're not going to tolerate. Tell each other, sit down, talk about these things. So before I got married, I didn't know how much compromisation I would have had to do. Luckily for me, we were able to sit down and talk about most of these things. But being married now, I wish we spoke a little bit more, and I wish I had a clearer understanding on how much compromisation I would be making. So my next point, marriage takes a whole lot of work. A whole lot of work. I can't even stress this. A whole lot of work in the sense that if you're impatient before getting married, you have to be patient. You have to mellow, calm down from your high heel. You have to be calm. You have to be as humble as possible. When issues spring up, when angers are rising, tension is rising, temperature is increasing, you have to learn to calm down. Because my marriage has taught me patience. It has taught me patience, perseverance. Yes, it has taught me all of this. It doesn't have to teach you long suffering, because long suffering, please, nobody wants to suffer too. Nobody wants to suffer for too long. But you have to learn patience. You have to practice patience, because marriage will humble you. That's the thing. It will humble you. Your ego, throw your ego before you get married. Be you a man or a woman. Men are egoistic. That's true. But there should be a limit to how much they put their ego to resolving issues. There should be an extent to how much they use their ego to resolve issues. Now, it takes a whole lot of work indeed, because you have to work on your ego, you have to work on how patient you are, you have to work on your tongue. When you get married, you have to know how to deal with in-laws. In life, you have to select your battles. So you have to learn how to deal with in-laws. Be very careful, be very wise about things. So this is part of the work you need. It takes a whole lot of work. So when you get married, you get to understand better, but it's best you know before you get married that it will take a whole lot of work. It's going to be, you can be best friends with your husband. Yes, I've heard a lot of people say your husband cannot be your best friend. You still need a couple of people out there to talk to. You say, truth be told, after you get married, your friends and your best friends would not know 100% of the things you would always tell them before you got married. The instant you get married, you might have family members, but like you can't always tell them everything that happens in your marriage. So this is why your husband would automatically become your best friend in marriage, because he will be the one you tell most of the things. There's a famous quote that says, marry your best friend. I used to underestimate this quote until I got married and I started to understand the importance of marrying your best friend. Marrying your best friend is so important because when you have issues, you're able to sort out the issues. But trust me, there's still people who have been married without even dating for long, knowing their spouses. There are instances where this doesn't work. Your husband being your best friend doesn't mean you both are always going to be happy 365 days in a year. No, there will be issues. But the beautiful thing about him being your best friend is when you have these issues, you guys will be able to easily iron out things better. And come to think of it, what kind of marriage would I have if my husband is not my best friend? Then there will be no sense in marriage. If my husband is not my best friend, it will be no sense in marriage if I would rather talk to friends about things happening in my life rather than my husband. It would be beautiful when your spouse is your best friend and you can tell him any and everything. But trust me, you don't want to always talk about your ex when you're with your husband, okay? Another point I wish I knew before I got married is that men don't joke with these 5 things. They don't joke with these 5 things. They don't joke with sex, appreciation, respect, validation, and honor. They don't joke with this. Now, your husband might not tell you, but he would love you to always initiate sex as much as you can. He would love it. Men want to be touched, they want to cuddle, they just want to be seen. They want to be visible in your marriage. Sometimes as women, we get married, we have kids, we start neglecting our husbands. Darling, this happens to most of us. You're not alone. The fact is that the men, they actually want you to initiate sex. They want you to send them a text and say, honey, how about today? How about this night? Whilst they're at work, they want you to do all of these things just for them. Respect. Every man wants to be respected by his wife. I never knew how important respect is for a man. When we first got married, I used to be rude at times. Then I realized, girl, if you continue like this, this marriage will just end. So I started to try to work on my habits, my character. So respect your husband. He would love it. Appreciation and validation. As much as we as women would love it when our husbands bring us roses, a bouquet of roses home for no reason, it's not Valentine's Day, it's not my birthday, and he brought me a bouquet of roses, we love it. He bought you, before you got married, he got you an expensive engagement ring, you love it. He would love appreciation. Now he would love validation from you, his wife. Sometimes your husband might be working on a project, or he might be in a team where he's not being appreciated outside. Trust me, darling, he would appreciate your validation. He needs your validation and no one else's. Validate him, make him know he's the best. Always praise your husband. Let him know he's the best in the world. No other husband exists. In fact, make your husband feel like no other husband exists. Honor him. Put him to high esteem. Treat him like a king. He would feel honored and would appreciate you. Okay, guys, the last thing. Before I got married, whenever I heard the word submission, submissive, I used to be so angry because I felt submission only comes to the instance of a slave and his master. A slave submits to his master, and I felt I am not a slave. I will not be choked up in the neck by submission. But getting married made me understand that if you marry the man who loves you and you trust his judgment, you trust his decisions, and he loves you, because the Bible says wives submit to your husbands and husbands love your wife. So if your husband loves you, there's no reason why you would not want to submit to him. So always remember, submission in marriage doesn't always mean you are a weaker spouse. Rather, it makes you a Proverbs 31 woman. It just means you are building your home and you don't want to pluck it down with your hands. You don't want to leave room for cracks in your marriage, but you're working on your marriage for peace and love to reign in your home. At times in marriage, submission might choke you in the neck. It might feel like, oh, I'm tired. You might feel this way at times in marriage. It gets to that point, trust me. Marriage changed my notion about submission. Come to the end of this video. I hope this video helps you out if you're engaged to your fiancé or your fiancé and you want to know the kinds of conversations you would have with your spouse. I hope and pray that this video enlightens someone out there before you get married. These are the things I really wish I knew and I was told sincerely before getting married. And yes, I hope this video meets you well. Till next time, please don't forget to subscribe to Blessing Best World. Yes, please do me this favor. I'll be putting a link to the video she's making on this same topic in the description box below, and please also subscribe to her channel. The link will also be in the description box. Till next time, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and share the video to as many married people as possible. Even married people need to see this so they know they are not alone. If you're planning to get married, you're single, you're engaged, it would be nice you watch this video, send this video out to your fellow friends who are engaged or planning on getting married, so they get enlightened and know these things. Okay guys, so next time, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. It's Bella Fresh again. Till next time, bye.